did it. You made through. You made it through session 3. All right. So isn't it amazing that, you can have lived in your body how long, and you still have things to learn. They're like, wow, that's interesting how my bodies work, how my body works and what's going on with my pelvis and my back, and give you a deeper engagement, deeper thoughts about how your body's functioning, and really what the best thing is to help your daily life and your exercise training as well. So for those of you, I just want to give a reminder, we're here in session 3. For those of you who want to go deeper with us, Patricia has dropped the link in the chat. So please feel free to schedule your semi-private session with us, where you can learn about becoming a VIP, which is both a very important person who we take you by the hand and take you through every one of these processes, measure all of your mobility and optimize your strength, as well as guide you through nutrition and everything that you're up against, help you optimize sleep and anything else that's important to you. So you can schedule that by clicking on the link that's in the chat now. And with that, let's turn it over to questions. So let me know what questions you have for today's session. And to do that, you can click on reactions on the bottom of the screen. That's the emoticon with the plus sign. If you click there and then you go up, you'll see raise hand. So you can just click raise hand, and then I'll know that you want to be involved in a question and answer with me. And of course, you can also write your questions in the chat, but it's a whole lot more fun if we do verbal back and forth as well. It's a lot more engagement. So anybody who wants to participate there, go ahead and raise your hand and let's talk. All right, who's the brave soul that wants to go first? It's always once one. There you go. All right, here's our extroverts. All right. So Randa, did I pronounce your name correctly? Randa, you're muted.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm in the dark, but when you're doing the thoracic, what did you call it? The thoracic extension?
Yeah, thoracic alignment breathing.
Yeah, the inhaling into your back and then exhaling. So I could see that my chest would drop in that exhale. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, you actually see it kind of drop.
Yeah, you're going to pull down on your front side, or what we call your anterior rib cage, but you want your upper back to extend though. So you're actually extending your upper back while you pull down on your anterior rib cage. One of the reasons why you're pulling down on your anterior rib cage is because if you just try to extend your back, the majority of people will just go like this. They'll just arch their back and they're not actually extending. So you actually have to create a counterbalance of pulling down on the front side while you're trying to elongate your back. You're trying to imagine you have a rope from the back top side of your head, and you're just pulling you. It's pulling you up like traction in your spine. So you're feeling that while you're pulling down on the front side rib cage.
I could feel that it was, when I really felt it, and it was really engaging, it sort of seemed to free up the back of my neck.
Yeah.
Just like there was like little air came in there.
Exactly.
Feels good.
Exactly. Yep. Because like we talk about in a session, your upper back is aligning all of those things. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. You're feeling exactly what you're supposed to. That's awesome.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah. Marilyn, you're up. Good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I was just noticing though, when I was lining my my left hip was not aligning with my knee and my foot when I did that exercise or whatever it was. Sorry, I'm just not articulate when it comes to this stuff. But I did notice that in my knee. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Your foot was pointing out?
No, my foot and my knee were aligned, but I felt like my hip wasn't there.
Yeah.
It just was off. Or I was holding it wrong all along, and it felt like a new position that I was trying. So I don't know. I feel like I'm still all kind of lopsided. And I don't know, it's hard for me to get up and down off the floor, and I always miss something. But I feel like I'm getting there. I mean, I do feel like this is really beneficial. So I don't know. I just have to work on it. Like that post, when I did that post interior thing, that kind of hurted the first time I did that. And also my left knee when I was doing the squats. And I was very careful to be straight, but it kind of hurt my knee. So
yeah,
I'm thinking that's
I saw a couple of posts come in the chat. Most people do not squat right. I could sit there on the screen and talk to you about pelvis and knee and stuff for 30 minutes. And then if I have 100 people do squats, 20 of them are going to be looking completely different than we look, because the reason why, and it's the same as a lot of stuff you're talking about, it's because the way something feels is not actually what's happening, which is kind of interesting, right? Because there's a lot of things we can compare in life actually to that. The way you feel and what's really going on is actually not aligned. So in mechanics and body mechanics is actually the same. It can very much be the same thing. And that's, you know, you feel like, oh, I'm doing right. I do exactly what he just said. Like, no, you're not. Your knees are going like this far over your toes, or you're shifting your pelvis, or you're bending over, or you're, you know, lots of stuff can happen. And it feels correct. And here's the thing, like because it feels correct, then you stay in that position. So once you like use a mirror, you really start drawing the correlation of where you're at and where it should be. That's when you can start bridging the gap, is like once you really create that body awareness. So things like a mirror can help. So watching my instruction and then using a mirror and seeing if what you're learning is matching in the mirror, that can help a lot as well. Because usually,
because I felt like I was doing it right, and then like on accident I got it into, I felt like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
We have a saying that the exercise doesn't bother you, the way you do the exercise bothers you.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, no offense, hopefully taken, but yeah, a lot of people are in that boat. And yeah, it's just a matter of just being really aware of the details I'm talking about. And especially with things like squats and lunges, you want your knees to stay over your heel, or even over your heel, and even back sometimes a little bit from that. But it's an easier position on your knee. It's a lot less stress. So to have the knee over the heel, for example, in the squat. And it takes some learning, because you have to really use your glute muscles, your butt muscles, and you know, you're not used to doing that. It takes some learning. So, you know, one thing that can be done is if you hold like a strap or a secure attachment of some type, then you can lean back a little bit further and put the more pressure on the heels. And then that'll help you start learning how to feel being in, for example, in a squat, having the pressure in the heels and using the glutes. Ultimately, you want to be able to do a good squat without leaning against the wall or using a strap, because, you know, life isn't always leaning against the wall and holding on to something. You need to actually have the stability and security to control your body.
Yeah, I do a lot of holding onto walls. Keeps me upright. So I'm working on that. But
yeah, it's a process.
It's a slow process. But I am enjoying the classes, and I do appreciate all your help, because I feel like I am getting things lined up, and I've been telling everybody about it. So it's a good thing. I have to get my husband in here. He's got neck issues. So
yes, for all of you, if you have friends, family, connections, coworkers that you think should learn about what we're sharing with you, then absolutely let them know. Send a link, share a link, email Patricia. We can help them as well. So yep, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So they would start them at the beginning with the first.
We can share the videos with them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you just share
anybody that any of you would like to send, we can share that. And also, beyond the Full Body Fix Challenge, we'll continue our online talk show. So yeah. The more awesome people like you and all of you, the better.
Okay. What's the online talk show? Is that something different? I'm always.
Yeah, it's a segment we're doing on Saturdays. So it's world-class experts on different health subjects and fitness subjects.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that as well. Oh, Saturday we still have a meeting, don't we?
we sure do. That's the one that you guys don't want to mix. That's where I give you a free gift, and we do our power breakthrough strategy session.
Well, I'll be there if it's chocolate. Otherwise, no, not gonna happen. All right, we'll see you on Saturday. Well, wait a minute.
Dark chocolate.
Do we have one?
Dark chocolate. I like milk chocolate better.
I love dark chocolate.
Yeah, but it's not as good for you. The dark chocolate is definitely is good. There's actually a lot of health benefits behind dark chocolate.
I keep telling my husband it's diet food, and he just laughs. I'm like, it is. Chocolate covered almonds. Like, yeah, it's good. All right, I will get my hand out of there if I can. Good talking. All right, where am I at?
And Kim, you're up next.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a lot of problems with alignment on my left side. And I think it all sort of originated in my sciatic area, psoas muscle or whatever. And neck and shoulders, because I had some rotator cuff problems playing too much volleyball probably. So I'm assuming this program will help get all that back into alignment. Like my glute and hamstrings hurt almost all the time, when I do squats or anything, even sitting, whatever. I mean, sometimes it's so stiff and sore, from doing too much stuff in the yard or walking or whatever. And I actually have to kind of lie down, flat instead of sitting down. So, yeah, my hope is this would help that.
Yeah, most of the muscle pains that you and others are experiencing is because your body feels out of alignment. It's trying to muscle guard, basically. It does something called muscle guarding. So muscles do two things. They lengthen and they shorten. So if they feel unstable, they're going to shorten, because they're, if I give you a heavy weight, you're not going to carry it way out here. You're going to bring it close to you. Well, that's the same thing your muscles do. If they feel unstable, they're going to shorten. So a lot of people think of short muscles like, oh, his strong muscles will go short. Well, oftentimes the weak muscle goes short. So because of that reason, because they feel unstable. So the best thing to do is figure out which tissues are being deficient, which we're getting into very heavily here in the full body fix, figure out and then address those tissues by really starting with light exercises, like we're doing, light exercise, introductory level, and then building up from there over time. But addressing your deficiencies will make your whole body feel better. So figuring out, is one hamstring tighter than the other, the hip flex, like we did in session 2, looking at all these details and then addressing that and being consistent with it will realign your body, will make everything, all of your motion, squats, walking, everything feel a whole lot better and be more functional and actually create fitness results and drive more oxygen into your cells and make you live longer, literally, and all those things. But it starts with that body mechanic. So, I show you in the full body fix a lot of these details. Of course, there's a lot of details that, a lot of you need to go further with and really break down and do these body alignment analyses on yourself. And we do that in our VIP system. But yeah, I give you a lot that you can kind of really think about here and start doing the exercises that we've introduced here. And just doing those, just really being consistent with those will help you tremendously.
Yeah. Okay. And I do have autoimmune issues and, probably a lot of inflammation, trying to correct, through eating differently. But yeah, so I don't know if that's some of the cause of, kind of systemic aches and pains. Just wondering
Yeah,
what your thoughts are on that.
good question. Yep, absolutely. Autoimmune conditions, absolutely. It's an inflammatory condition, will stress your body further and increase pain signals. But many of those things are caused by your physical adaptation. In other words, how fit your cells are, how well they're processing energy and producing energy and signaling, because cells signal each other for processes and signal all other cells in your body. And when they become irregular, and the more irregular they become, the more the immune system will see them as a foreign invader and attack them. And then that causes an inflammatory response. So one of the best ways to combat that is to do the right amount of exercise for you, not too much and not too little, but have this very consistent low level of exercise that's building over time and sometimes backing off. And that goes building your fitness adaptation so that your immune system starts to see your cells as normally functioning. And then that whole autoimmune response will quiet a lot, as well as, working through stress. If you're having excess stress in your life, doing good breathing exercise, meditation, because you're physically active, you're going to sleep better. The biggest time that the immune system recovers itself is during sleep. And the more active you are during the day, the more likely you are to get a really good night's rest at night and sleep and deep sleep. So the number one thing to improve deep sleep is actually exercise. So because there's that balance between exertion during the day and total rest at night. So, incorporating all those things, and yes, nutrition is a big part of it. Is for most people, it's cutting out things like dairy, wheat. Some people have much more allergy to things like gluten. But, my recommendation for is the physical activity, and then lean organic meats, vegetables, fruit, and staying very, very well hydrated. So that's really the biggest place to make huge result, to have a lean body and super functional, and then tie in the mechanics piece and you'll be superhuman.
Yeah, I do have a tendency to overexert myself, just because I was used to being able to do a lot of stuff. So occasionally, I'll like start weight training, and then it just seems like I always overdo it, or I go out in the yard and do something, and then I'm, comatose for a couple of days or something.
Well, you're certainly not alone. There's a lot of people who, and I think our desire to do that comes from this thought process that like, well, I'm going to get the results, so I need to do what I can do. But the reality is you don't have to do what you can do. You should only do a portion of what you can do and exercise to get the best result. If you're doing what you can do, then you're working towards your maximum. So, if I can run 3 miles in 20 minutes, but I'm not used to running 3 miles in 20 minutes, then that's going to way overtrain my body, even though I can do that. So the majority of people who start exercise training or aren't really exercising, then they start and then they stop. Whenever they go back to exercising, it's a big mistake to try to do what you can do. Because just because your body can do that does not mean that's the right amount of stimulus for you. It's usually only going to be about 40 to 60% of what you actually can do. So, and then, and the goal should be consistency. It's not about how much can I do in that session? Like, who cares, right? You want to be fit next week, next month, next year also. And more importantly, really, you want to be fit for life. So the way to do that is to always have your workout and your exercise routine producing a result that makes you feel amazing after and the next day. It should never really overstress you. So it's always combating. It's actually more about figuring out how to use the exercise stimulus in a way that you don't have any negative results. And when you focus on it that way, then exercise becomes much more comfortable. The positive result is much higher. And that's what produces the anti-aging effect from exercise, is that. But most people don't train, and partly that falls the fitness industry, because the fitness industry is constantly marketing the opposite of everything I just said. It's the exact opposite. And they do that because they think people are going to get interested. Like, it's an emotionally compelling thing to show that and to project that,
Right.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Karen. Hello, Karen. You're up. Karen, I see you have your hand up.
Okay. Hello.
Oh, there we go. Hello.
I'm sorry, I don't have visual because I turned my camera off one time and I haven't figured out how to turn it back on. So, hello, everyone. And I'd like to make a comment about consistency, which you just said, and that is so true. About 6 years ago, I got a puppy and I proceeded to train him into an athlete. And he dragged me along, up and down the hills and the mountains and the roads and through the woods. And it's just amazing. And, you know, it was the consistency and it got me in good shape. But I realized I'm totally out of alignment because when we were doing some of the exercises, my ankles weren't holding me up proper. And so that's, gosh, when you say it's the basic thing that you have to do, starting from the toes and the feet and the whole thing, so true. So thank you for that. That's given me a lot of insight. And I've learned so much in the last couple of days. I actually canceled a doctor's appointment because I wanted to get a referral to go to a physical therapist because I was having issues with my ankle. I had twisted it a few months ago. My knee, because my very energetic dog pulled me when I wasn't expecting it, and I did a face plant, and my knee, thank God it was on the grass. And then I had some hip issues because I tend to overdo and carry too much weight and go up and down the stairs a million times. So, so I figured I just need somebody to show me what to do so I can undo this damage and it doesn't get any worse. And I just stumbled upon your program, and this is amazing. This has helped me so much, just these last couple of sessions. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for sharing. That's
and
awesome.
I shared the video with my brother, and it was I was very pleased that you said that it's perfectly fine for us to share with our friends and family.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's very generous of you. You make it easy to get more and more people involved. So thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Please spread the word. And we'd love to help all of your friends and family as well, and coworkers, whoever makes sense for you.
Yeah, and I'll try to get my camera thing fixed.
Okay.
I have to ask a kid. They know things.
Right.
Well, if you go to the bottom of your Zoom bar,
yeah, you
will see a toolbar that has buttons, and the second to the left is like the camera. So if you just click on that, it should turn your camera
when it says start video, and then it tells me that I have the wrong camera. But I'll figure this out.
Okay.
It's just not working.
Technology and its problems.
Yes, it is. But thank you, Patricia.
Of course.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen, for sharing.
You're welcome.
Jane, you're up.
Yeah. Hi, Robbie. I have yesterday after we finished our session, or I guess it was 2 days ago. I did everything from the very beginning of your exercises, all the ones you've given up to the point of everything. And it actually took me about an hour and a half to get through everything. I was quite surprised because some of the exercises really look quite simple, but when you're actually doing them and concentrating on them and going to each of the different levels, it takes actually quite a lot of concentration, focus, and time.
Yes.
My question is that the correct thing to do, is to literally go through the whole shebang?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, depending on how apt you are to exercising, and depending on how intense you're doing each exercise is going to determine whether I say how long you should do the session for, right? Because you're not going to do all 4 sessions we have, physical activity, and actually we have physical activity in all of our sessions. So if you do like all 5 that you end up getting and trying to do that in one session and do multiple sets, and you're not used to exercising, that's going to be probably too much.
Well, I'm very used to exercising. That's not it. But I figured an hour and a half actually made a lot of sense to me. But now extending the whole body alignment as we go further probably would end up taking a few hours. So probably have to break it up and maybe do some in the morning and some in the evening or something like that, because it's really, really, really beneficial. And I have one question regarding the exercise that we did 2 days ago for the hip extenders. I've discovered that that's my problem, is that my hip extenders are incredibly tight. And as a result, extremely painful to do that exercise with the, well, I have a band, but with the towel or a band where you put your foot back and lift it up. I can't do that. I actually can't do it. It's too painful. So what I did was what I think is a sort of similar, but not overdoing it, because I don't want to cramp up, or I don't want to pull anything. I want to start slowly and build up so that I can extend those hips, those hip extensors over time, and not just kill myself trying to do the exercise if it doesn't work. Is that acceptable? Like, I just laid on my stomach, I put my leg out to the side, and I lifted my back leg that I would normally be holding with the band, but I didn't use the band. I just lifted my leg, and I could still feel pain. So I figured I better start there.
Yeah. Okay. So you're speaking of hip flexors, not extenders, extensors. Hip flexors are the muscle on the front side of your hip, and the extensors would be on the back side.
Oh, so, sorry, hip flexors. It's my hip flexors. They're totally screwed up.
Yeah. So this is a great question, by the way, for everyone. There's always an entry point to any exercise, even after like surgery or an accident. There's an entry point to everything, and it just matters to figure out, like, okay, well, what is the entry point? So most things you shouldn't really feel much pain from. I mean, there's certain strength exercise where your muscles are going to burn, and there's a lot of benefit to that. But in terms of stretching, this isn't Chinese Youth Olympics, so we're not looking to have any like 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s of intensity. Stretching should feel really comfortable, and we should relax into the stretch. So we should use our nervous system, breathing in through the nose, exhaling for 6 seconds, and we should actually let the body quiet into a stretch, not work for a stretch. So you shouldn't work for the stretch. Usually you should try to, most of your stretching should be relaxing into the stretch. So you might just get into the position and use your hamstring to bring the foot back and up. You might just do that, right? And then you might have a band, get a very light band, something where it's barely any resistance. It's not helping you at all. You can, buy these long bands. Patty can drop a link in the chat for you. But you use a very light band and attach to your foot, and you start with that. It's barely pulling on your foot. You might not even barely feel it, but then you can start pulling the band a little further, a little more tension. Next thing you know, you're using a heavier band, but all the while with mobility, you're focusing on relaxing into, everything. All the mechanical stuff is nervous system. It really has to do with the nervous system. It requires a lot less effort than most people think to get a lot of fitness. So if you're really consistent, and then every once in a while with strength training, then you push yourself a little further. Just little once a week, just once a week, pick that one workout that you're going to push yourself 20% more than you normally do. But otherwise, it's always a lot of just good, healthy body alignment, enjoyable exercise. Yeah.
Also, I noticed in the videos that were included.
Well,
It's clear how many repetitions you should be doing. So I don't know. I just did like 20 repetitions on each side, and I was guessing that that was correct, but I don't know for sure.
So the sustained hold stretches, if you do it as I was just suggesting, that can be for about a minute. And then the strength exercises you can do for around 2 minutes each.
Okay.
And you should start with one set if you're not used to it, and then you can build up. You know, always start with one set, find your comfort zone, and then build from your comfort zone. Which most people do is they go overboard, and then, okay, that was too much, let me back off. And it's like, well, where are you backing off to? I mean, how much are you overtraining, right? You don't really know. So first, find your comfort zone, have it be a comfortable experience, and then go forward from there. And then go forward small amounts. That way, the moment you start crossing the line, that exercise didn't agree with me, or that amount of load or stress didn't agree with you, you're going to know. You know, you're going to know. So go very comfortable and then go into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But one set, 1 minute mobility, about 2 minutes on the strength was the simple answer for you.
Okay.
I'm looking at the chat here, seeing if there's any other questions I didn't get to that I need to answer. Okay, so Anita says, I had 3 pins put in my hip in 2016. And by the way, while I'm reading this, if anyone has a question or you think of something and you'd like to raise your hand in chat, please feel free to do that. So with that being said, Anita says, I had 3 pins put in my hip in 2016, and the surgeon told me I'm going to go knock-kneed and would eventually need a knee replacement. Do you think this can be avoided through correcting my alignment? I tend not to believe surgeons in some situations. I spoke to a physical therapist a couple of years ago with experience, and we thought it was preventable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, if you can take your hip and you can put your knee in a line and then your foot in a line of that, then you can drastically improve your body alignment. So just because the knee's wanting to rotate in a little bit, if you're really aware of that positioning during exercise, you can significantly make a very large difference. And it's interesting because when you have things like scoliosis in your spine, or you have a knee situation where the knees are falling in more than other people's do, you have issues like this, you actually need to address it even more and actually help you even more, because let's see how far away you can get from that extreme misalignment, right? So it's actually even more beneficial for those people. It's not like it's too far gone. It's even more important to try to, even if you don't get to perfection, you're really far away from that extreme misalignment. All right, so I'll just give it maybe another 60 seconds here before we sign off, just in case anyone has any other final questions for today. It was awesome having you here. The Full Body Fix session 3. Very much look forward to seeing you in session 4. And remember, if you want to schedule with me for a semi-private session where we can go deeper into your personal fitness plan and program, hurdles standing in the way, and make life even more amazing for you, you know where to find us. And the chat also has a link right now. Patricia's dropping that link again there right now. And of course, you have my email, so you can always reach me that way as well. Much love to each and every one of you. Wish you guys to have an amazing day, and think about that alignment throughout your day, and the sleeping position and seated positions. And remember, alternate your positions throughout the day. Try not to just stay seated for like 6-8 hours at a time. Get up, lay down, put a pillow on your chest, look at your laptop while you're laying down, instead of just being in these positions that cause that excess stress. It's going to help you feel a heck of a lot better if you rotate that position throughout the day. Much love to all of you. Make it a great day. See you soon.
Did you use the link I just sent, Tal?